you. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes podcast. I'm your host, Savannah, and we are getting ready to do another episode that I call Bikini Girl Chit Chat, where we sit down with a fellow competitor. We talk about your journey to the stage and just the mindset behind how you got there and your background. So, welcome to the show. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Shawnee and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, I am excited to talk about your fitness journey. So tell me where this fitness journey started and when.
So it started back in 2015. I did my first two competitions. It was kind of just like a for fun thing. My cousin was doing it, so I'm like, I want to try that. So I did too. I didn't like really take it seriously back then though. But I had a lot of fun with it. So then took some time off, got married, had kids, and back in 2021, recently got back into it.
Okay. So have you been on stage since 2015?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I did two shows in 21 and two in 22.
Okay. Perfect. So are you off season right now then?
I actually just started prep for hope I'm shooting for May of
Okay.
2024.
And who are you working with for coaching?
I'm doing it myself this year.
Oh,
I
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I decided to try that. I did John Jewett's female competition training module. So I feel like I have a pretty good idea based off of that. And
okay.
yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about that a little bit more, but I want to keep going back to the beginning of this fitness journey. What were you like before you found fitness, or like, did you have a history or athletic background of some sort?
Not really. No, I did track in high school and I did like horse shows, like competition riding, and that's it as far as like athletic background. So not really much.
And
Just
how
kind of
old were
got
you
into
when
like
you,
gym. Oh, sorry.
yeah, how old were you in 2015 when you found it, like your fitness journey?
21.
Okay. Okay. It's about the same time where I started mine, is right in the, you're kind of like in the adult. Were you in college at the time or what were you doing?
I was not, no, I was just working.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was a multi-unit manager for Subways.
Okay. Exciting. Loved it.
Yeah,
Good. Okay. So we're starting to get into fitness. 2015, was that bikini division at the time? Because
it
that's
was. Yeah, but it was
okay.
obviously not what it is now, as you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
So yeah,
That's I feel like the golden era of bikini where
right.
everyone was more of like the beach bikini model
Mhm.
kind of thing. It wasn't so much about the muscle. It was about the muscle, but it was more of like that very, very just soft toned, the toned look that everyone wants.
Yes.
It's not
Yep.
necessarily the shredded look, it's the toned look. And that was 2015 bikini, where it was like a little bit of everything, not a lot of emphasis on shoulders, a little kiss of abs, a lot of glute. And did they have like Brazilian cuts? Like
Yes. Yep. The bigger bikinis.
the
Yeah.
cheeky
And the
bottoms?
different posing where you cross your legs too. Do you remember
Oh,
that back
really?
pose?
Or they like put their hands or something, or like they like have their little feet like,
Something like that. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yep.
I remember
Back in the
those.
day.
Oh my gosh. So what drew you towards the stage of bikini bodybuilding?
Well, like I said, that was something that my cousin did. And I thought she looked amazing. So I kind of like followed her there. And then I just got hooked on it after having kids. I told my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna get back into it, I think. And then that was what 2021. I did two shows and then 22. And I was like, I'm small. Like even now, I'm still very small. I needed to take that time off. But I was in a good place mentally to start prep. So I figured let's just go for this year. I guess next year, but you know what I mean.
So you competed before kids and now you competed just recently after kids. Okay.
Yes.
Was
Yep.
that two different preps? Was it easier, harder?
Um, I don't even remember my first prep, the 2015 one, to be honest with you. My last one was harder as I'm older and whatnot too. Having
Yeah.
kids kind of,
What
you
were
know,
your protocols, or like what were you doing for cardio at the most, and like what did you have to get your calories down to?
at the most, last year, 2 hours of cardio, hour in the morning, hour at night. And then I feel like my calories got around 1,000, maybe a little bit over, but not much.
And for
And
reference, what is your height?
I'm 5'5".
Okay, I mean, average height for a bikini athlete, just to get that like the leanness, the look that they're wanting. And you do have to get to extreme levels of, cardio and dieting. And right now, where are you at for cardio and diet?
Cardio is 50 minutes and my diet is 1,400 calories.
Are you doing 50 minutes every day?
50, yes.
Okay, so 7 days a week.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how you prep yourself, because I've had a lot of girls that actually came on the podcast that decided to coach themselves. I'm always very interested about how you decide that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So what made you feel confident in yourself to go through that process now?
Um, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I just I feel like I know what works with me. My biggest fear about doing it was holding myself accountable, like making myself take check-in pictures when I don't want to. Um, but I've been able to do that thus far, even during my off season. So I was like, I'm just gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. And I like it because if it's been like what 5 days or something and I don't see any weight change, like if I'm just staying the same, I can make minor tweaks myself.
Mhm.
So I do like that part of it.
How are what like are you doing just weight tracking? What are you tracking about yourself? So you're tracking your food, you're tracking your cardio. Like, are you doing your own programming? Like, how did you structure your
Yeah.
workout plan? How did all that process work for you?
Yeah, own programming as far as training goes, mostly glutes and shoulders, but as you know. And then yeah, tracking diet, measurements, caliper sites, and food, of course. I think I already said that, but yeah, cardio.
Okay. And so May is the goal. What competition are you targeting?
The Pittsburgh Pro. I'm a few
Oh,
hours from Pittsburgh, so
okay.
like
It's a big show.
home.
It's a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, we
It's
go every year to watch, so we'll try to go, so it'll be nice to actually
good.
compete. in it.
And are you planning on doing more than one shows this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. And then I think there is one in DC a week or two after.
Is that the DC Pro show? It's like a
Yeah,
pro am.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So what are your goals when it comes to competing this year?
This year, I want to get that national qualification and do a national show.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
goal.
So that would be what, top two?
Yes. Yeah.
And are you masters yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So,
Well, I can be. I haven't yet, though.
okay, you haven't competed. Well, okay. Yeah. So that's different. So if you're listening to this, like, I think it's masters. If you go to masters nationals, compete as a masters national athlete, you only have to compete in one regional show. You don't have to
Oh.
place.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
A lot of
Okay.
people don't know that. And then
Yeah.
if you want to compete in an open national show as a masters athlete, then you do have to get the top two. But
Okay. Good to
mhm.
know.
So you are, if you once after you do your show, you're basically qualified for masters nationals.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I had no
But
idea.
but to get the top two, to build confidence again, just to go into a huge show. Okay, so 20, how many shows have you done so far? So we did 2015, 2016, and then you said how many is that? Is that like six?
That's six. Yep. I've
Six.
always
Okay.
done them in twos.
What is your favorite show?
My favorite one that I did, I want to say was probably, um, I don't know. That's hard because I liked the last two that I did. I did Tampa, the Tampa Pro, well, amateur, but That one was a lot of fun. It was a very long day though.
I heard that
Like,
show, the audience was packed. It was absolutely like chaos. It was massive. It's one of the biggest shows. So
yeah, it was
competing in it,
amazing though.
why was it amazing?
Um, it's just being at such a big venue and doing a show that the pros were doing too, being on like the same stage, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
So that one was a lot of fun. Oh, and then my coach at the time was there. I worked with Kyle Burns and Lauren. So it was
Oh,
nice to like see them and actually meet them and hang out with them at the show too.
oh my gosh, they're an amazing team. So you
They
probably
are.
have learned a lot from doing preps under different people. So were they
Oh,
always your
yeah.
coach? Or
No, he was my coach last season. Before
okay.
that, I worked with Joe Lenahan from Next Level Bikini Team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you probably did learn a lot in that time
Hmm.
period of just how to do it. And like if you're always engaging and just watching your body and what was your last feedback?
I didn't get my feedback actually,
Oh, did you
which is
want it
shocking.
or
I know. Hmm?
did you ask for it or you just didn't want
I didn't want it because I could just tell, like, I'm just small. I know I needed to put on muscle
it? Yeah.
of all things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because the judges are gonna pretty much tell you the same thing, right?
Right.
Glutes and shoulders coming a little bit leaner, more. It's very rare that you're gonna get everything was perfect, like right. So you should technically kind of have a great idea of like what your weaknesses are going into the show anyway. But if you know that, like a lot of times you don't necessarily need them. Just as you can see, you can objectively look, be like, okay, who won my class? Who won the show? What do they have that I don't have? Okay, obviously that's where you grow, right? Okay, where did you place in at Tampa?
Tampa, I think, was fifth.
Okay,
And the other one was the Pennsylvania Muscle, which was the week after Tampa, and that
okay,
was eighth. So,
okay. So you did a prep like back to back. Was that hard transitioning from one week to the next? Like during that time?
no.
Oh, it was easy.
Yeah, going from show to show, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
then
So
it was
that's
like done. You know what I mean? Like then after that we reversed and
yeah. Because I've always done two shows separate. I've always wanted to do
oh,
two shows like back to back, but
yeah.
it's never worked out because it's a lot of times feedback was take time off and then it was grow. So then I've never had a chance to do like a show and then a weekend like back to back. I've
Hmm.
always wanted to do it. And I just am curious just what changes that you tried to make in a week's time.
I was definitely tighter for my second show.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess just because it was an extra week of dieting and cardio and whatnot. Plus, if I'm remembering correctly, we peaked differently for that one. He had me do a different peak protocol.
Oh,
I believe we, sorry, I'm trying to like think back. I don't have my notes in front of me.
yeah.
But I think that we did more of like a, what is it, like a carb load up to.
Hmm.
And I do remember there was 2 gallons of water the day before too.
Oh, like a water load.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to do that before and it's hard. Like you
It was
think a
so
gallon is
hard.
hard and then you're just like, oh, it's water, like it's gonna be easy. It's not like, oh, I can
Mm,
drink 2 gallons. Drinking 2 gallons is challenging. And you have to
yeah.
pee so much. And if you get your tan and you have to pee too, and then that's a whole nother situation where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't get this tan wet, and you're just drinking and
Mhm.
things are going around everywhere the very end, it's kind of messy, but it all comes together on show day. So that
Yeah.
was 20, you said, okay, that was 2022. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then what was during 2021?
My my shows are my peaks.
Shows for 2021.
Shows I did the Ohio State. That one was a lot of fun, but it was like really small. And then I also did them back to back within like a week. The other one was the Big Cat in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
What was the biggest class that you ever competed in? Was it Tampa was the biggest show?
No, it was not. It was the biggest class was that Pennsylvania muscle.
How many girls do you think were in your class?
Uh, at least 16, maybe a little bit more. They only had like two height divisions.
Okay. Well, I was like,
So there was a lot of us.
that's big for a regional show. Like anything over, I feel like eight. So you have the
Yeah.
8 to 10, like that's a big class.
Yeah.
And it's what were the differences do you think? You said one was a small show. Did you like it that it was smaller? Or what would be the benefits for someone doing a small show versus a bigger show?
So the small show was set up differently too. Like the women, we didn't even go on stage until 3. So they did like all of the men's stuff in the morning, finals and prejudging, and then the women's in the afternoon. So that was kind of nice, like having the morning to just get ready and then not have to wait around. Like we went right into finals. So I did
Yeah.
like that setup. But I don't know, the bigger show, you just get to like meet more people. Yes, they do take longer though. So I don't know which one I prefer, honestly.
It's hard to make it. I always think like it's like you said, like the bigger shows, it's a little more fun, even though it's intimidating. There's just so much energy going on. Like they have if there's pros there, then they have a good fan base. The crowd's nice. Backstage, there's a lot of athletes. This in
Mhm.
getting good judges is really important too to get that like fair judging, and you'll know that it's coming from people that are going to give out pro cards eventually.
Right.
That's I because I've done small shows and big shows, but there's something fun too about small shows because it's nice. You're like, oh, like it's not as much pressure. Like,
Yes.
you don't feel like, oh no, this is big and scary. This is a really big stage and there's a ton of people out in the audience. Do you have any type of stage fright?
Yeah, I mean, leading up to it, of course, nervous and a little
Yeah.
shaky. Yeah.
How did you start learning the poses, like bikini poses?
I started with her name is Maya Gordon. She's a pro from Canada. I started posing with her before my competitions in 2021.
Okay.
And she's amazing. I absolutely loved working with her. And that's where I got most of my routine from. And then when I started with Kyle, then I worked with Lauren to pose, but they were
So
both
now
amazing.
Good. Okay. So now are you doing your routine yourself the whole time?
I am, but I will start working with a coach. I do
Good.
pose now, but I
Yeah.
will need to start working with somebody.
What is your practice routine? Like, how often are you practicing posing?
Um, Probably like 4 times a week for like 10 minutes for now. And then as we get closer, I'll work with somebody and get some more time in.
Good. Okay. So when it comes to like this sport too, like goals like down the line, I know nationals, going to nationals, but like why do you continue to do this? I know you're in love with it, but like what specifically about it do you like?
I just like I don't know, I'm a very routine person. I like okay, get up, get the kids to school, go to the gym, like just the lifestyle of it itself. Eat clean the same stuff.
Just the repetitiveness. What is do you have any like is there any negative sides when it comes to competing, or is there like is it all positive? Like how's post show do you get post show blues? How's body image issues?
Post show blues for sure.
Yeah.
That was hard after last season. And then seeing everybody compete in 2023, I'm just like, here we are, not competing.
It
And
is
then
hard.
yeah, I wanted to make sure that like I was in a good spot mentally though before starting again.
Mhm.
And I am, so
How did you get there? Like share some insight for us of like when you say you're in a good spot mentally, like what does that mean when you know that you're ready to start a prep?
Um, just whenever I have my cardio regimen nailed, like even in my off-season cardio, my diet, like just feel clear mentally, you know?
What is the difficult or like what's the most difficult part about prep for you?
The diet for sure.
Mhm.
I'm a foodie and like
Yeah.
love the snack, but obviously that's not happening.
Okay, so with your family, like, do they eat the same foods that you eat? Are you guys eating separate meals?
Separate meals.
Okay, how do you manage that? How does that work?
Well, the kids, they'll pretty much eat the same thing. I have two. So I just kind of make theirs, make mine, and then make my husband's. It's usually like three or four different meals for us.
Because I have a lot of people are listening to this and they're just like, well, I have a family and they might have excuses of like, it's just the eating part, that it's just a challenge of I'm eating something different, making all the different food. So are you prepping your food ahead of time and then microwaving it?
It depends. Yes and no. I work from home mostly, so I just
Okay.
cook my food fresh usually. But I do go into my office twice a week, so I'll take all my food with me then.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I'll just make like a batch of chicken or whatever, so I just don't have to worry about it. Make like a big pot of rice too and throw something together.
Do your kids have any idea what you are doing?
I don't think. No, they're 7 and 5. So, I mean, they see like me posing and eating the same thing, but I don't know that they really have any idea what it's all about.
Do they ever like ask questions about it?
Sometimes, yeah, they'll ask like what I'm doing or why I'm doing that. And they like looking at the sparkly suit and jewelry
Uh-huh.
and all that. My daughter's kind of more into that, of course.
Yeah. And okay, so is your husband into this sport? Is he an athlete too, or is he not?
He did a competition way back when I was doing mine in 2015.
Okay.
He did one as a physique competitor just to kind of do it, and he did really well, and that was it for him.
Okay, well, that's good because he has a point of reference and can just
Yeah,
understand when you have the hangries and the tiredness and you need to go do
right.
cardio and everything like that too.
Yeah, he's very much into it. He just doesn't compete or anything.
Good. Okay. And from so you've done 6 shows. I'm trying to think too, like that evolution of like mindset. Like, how do you keep pushing yourself? Because being consistent for 6 years, like that's hard. So was there any time where like you fell off of training? I know because you were in an off season for a little while. Like, what happened, or how did you get back on track?
So after my first two shows, that's when I kind of took my longest break and didn't get back into it until after my children were born. So that was, a couple years where I didn't really train. I did the at-home workout program for a while, hated the gym for a while because I was just so like intimidated at that time. Um, and then honestly, I don't really know what made me like snap back into it. I follow competitors on Instagram and just kind of was like, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it to people. It's like once you've done it, it's in your blood. And so
Yes.
you know that you can turn the switch on like whenever you feel like it, but you have to do like what you need to do and you need to grow. And but you do know like mentally, I think it comes to a point, like you were saying, like you have to be ready for it. Because if you're like kind of wishy-washy on the diet in the off season where it's like, okay, I'm like really snacking pretty hard right now. Like, or I'm going out 3 to 5 times a week and we're like really eating bad. Like maybe this isn't the best week to start a prep. Like let's slowly make that transition where it's like, okay, I want to try to follow a diet just for a week and kind of do a little pre diet. And then it's like, okay, I can do this and I'm craving more and you're seeing the results. So with everything, like it's really hard to I don't know. I guess that time period, I want to really like dig into this a little bit more too. Because you said something snapped. So what were some of the first things that you did? Like when this idea comes in, I want to compete again. What are you doing? Like, were you researching coaches? Were you going to the gym more? Like, what were some of the first like little tasks that you started doing?
So I was already back into the gym. But yes, I did start researching coaches. And I also, to kind of like commit myself, as silly as this sounds, I ordered like suit samples, like the little ones that I think you guys send them out too, and it's
Yeah.
toxic. I ordered some suit samples. That was kind of like how I told my husband, like, I want to do this again and like I'm committed to it. He thought I was crazy. He's like, so you ordered pieces of fabric. Yes, I did.
Oh, hey, I am so glad that you said that because it's just the excitement. It's like starting the process.
Exactly.
It's just
Hmm.
something, right? It's like, okay, one little idea turns into, let me just like order some samples. Like, I'm not going to buy a suit yet, but I'm going to think about it, right? I can't fit into it yet. I'm not in prep yet, but it's just starting that, like getting the wheels turning. And like,
Yes.
okay, you're starting to see that vision of like, ooh, I want to get in shape again. I'm going to be all toned. But again, it is a process. So going through it a few times, like, okay, we can't just like snap our fingers and be in shape. Like, it's going to take commitment, it's going to take the mindset. So, is there anything that you do to stay motivated? Like, is it music? Do you journal? Do you meditate? Do you listen? Like, anything? Like, what helps you stay motivated?
Um, Honestly, it's probably just like well, YouTube, like I love your YouTube channel. Seeing you prep and stuff, just like your food gives me ideas and things. So yeah, like YouTube, motivational YouTubes as well. Just seeing like people that I've competed, like just with nationals yesterday, a girl I competed with at Pennsylvania Muscle just got her pro card. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, like I just was on stage with her like 2 years ago, and now she's got it. A very good friend of mine, she's a Masters competitor, just got hers at Masters Nationals. So I keep reminding myself of that. Like, if they can do it, then I can do it. It is achievable. So I guess
Yes.
that's probably my biggest motivation is just like visualizing that happening, you know?
Yes, I love that because it is hard because you're just like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do. But when I see friends that I've competed for, like they're going through competing, and you do get excited for them because it is proof. It's not just somebody that you don't know. Like when you start to get into the sport and you see someone that you share the stage with go on and be successful, you're like, okay, it gives you that like little confidence boost of like, okay, my teammate or my friend did it, I can do it. And you just kind of keep doing it and you've done it before. But sometimes it just takes like a little push to get yourself started again. So now that's kind of where you're at now. You're getting into this prep. So how are you making this the best prep? It's number one, you're going to be coaching yourself. But like, what
Mhm.
else extra are you doing? Like, what is going to change about this prep that's going to be different for you?
I am holding myself more accountable this prep. Um, which is hard because, with kids, they have like little treats and whatnot, and then holidays coming up, but I'm just staying completely focused on the goal and reminding myself, like, is that little like piece of chocolate worth it, or that little whatever.
Mm-hmm. So when that happens and you like have the urge, and it's like right now, it's holiday season and you're in prep. So what does that look like for you when you're doing holidays? Like how are you on prep and doing holiday?
Well, luckily we do Christmas at my house, so I will be the one making
Yeah.
everything. I can easily track that. Um, but like, yeah, with New Year's and whatnot, we go to my in-laws, and they know that I always take food, so I always have. So I'll just take my stuff with me, and they're okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, you make it seem so simple, like, oh, I just take my food. It kind of is. I mean, at the end of the day, you just make the commitment to yourself and you hold yourself accountable. And even if it is the holidays, kind of so what? It's like just bring your food, just eat your meals, do your plan, and that's it. It's just take time and get yourself ready for the stage. Um, okay, so with um like mindset too. You're saying you're holding yourself accountable. Like, what does that mean? Is that just mean like you're going to, I don't know, like how do you tell yourself no when you do have that little piece of chocolate come up? Or it's like when you want something and you're hungry, like how do you hold yourself accountable?
Yeah, it's just telling myself no, or like making like a decaf coffee or something to kind of like curb that sweet tooth. Or like water flavor packets work well too.
Mhm.
Yeah, just like reminding myself like I'm doing this. And I think, I don't know, I feel like prepping myself might be sorry, I have like no brain right now.
It's
Might be part of the reason too, because like I have something to prove, you know?
okay. I see that.
Like what
Okay.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because okay, one of my friends that's prepped herself, she's always getting comments about, have you tried doing this? Or are you sure you should be doing that? Just because you're doing it yourself. Like it really shouldn't be that much different. But like
Mhm.
people do want to doubt someone that's self-coached because it's just not the norm, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone has some type of coach. So they're kind of like, you can't do it yourself, can you? Because I'm paying
Yeah.
all this money for this coach. How can you do it yourself? How does that make sense? So that drive just to kind of prove not necessarily everyone wrong, but yeah, to a point like and to prove to yourself too, like I
Yeah.
can do this. And I feel like it might make prep easier in a way because you don't have to like fight it. It's like you're the one who set the plan. There's no one to be mad at if you take a bite off plan, you're the coach and you're the client. So if you mess up the plan, it's literally you yourself to blame for the
Yeah.
whole thing. So when you step on stage, it's kind of if you do well, great. You're to blame, right? But if you do bad, oh shit. Like you're the one
Yeah.
to blame.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like
Okay.
that's really helping me mentally too.
Yeah, I feel like it would to a certain point because then yeah, like there's really no one to be mad at. Like, oh God, I can't
Hmm.
believe I don't want to do this cardio. I'm so hungry, all this stuff, or I don't know if I should be cutting my calories. Okay, but when you're doing these decisions, like, do you with like your protocol changes, or is this happening? You said after like 5 days, you do check-ins with yourself.
Not, I do check-ins every week, so what, every 7 days. But yeah, I don't make too many changes yet because I'm
Yes.
seeing the scale moving. So I don't want to make too much cardio as of right now because it is so early, you know? Like I'm
Yeah.
only 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm seeing all these not all of these changes, but I'm already seeing some movement, like I just want to ride this for a little bit. And
Mhm.
then if I stall and it's like, okay, now we're going on day 4, 5, 6 of the same weight, like now I need to do something. And I know that like I didn't cheat, I didn't skip out on my cardio, you know.
Yeah. What are your plans for your peak week? Do you know yet?
I do not know yet. I have to go back through I the J3U, the John Jewett
Yep.
module, and like kind of I've been rewatching the prep one to just kind of feel how he programs his prep for his female clients. So I
Yeah.
need to go back through the peak week one a couple times too.
What are you planning to do with this knowledge? Are you planning to keep prepping yourself and keep going, or are you planning to like eventually take clients?
Um, Both. Yeah, I'm hoping, I could be successful with this knowledge. And then, yeah, work with people around my area. I have a friend who she's in high school. I know her from the gym, but she would love to compete. So I'd love to help her at some point whenever she's ready and
Mhm.
anybody else.
Yeah. No, I really think that using yourself as like a test dummy is a great way. Like, hey, I did it on myself. Let's try it on you. Like, and just kind of
Yeah.
working it up from there. What else? Like, so outside of the sport, what do you do for fun?
Work and hang out with my kids, honestly. I
That's
have no
fine.
fun
Yeah.
outside of those sports. I'm very much a homebody.
I literally have nothing else going on besides the
Yeah.
gym. I'm like,
Yep.
is that a hobby or is that like my career? It's like, I don't know. It's kind of both. It's like, okay, what do you do for fun? I'm like, well, this is awkward. I don't drink really. I don't go
Yeah,
out to
me either.
bars. I don't go to concerts. I was like, I go to the gym and I like to watch TV. Like, I
Yep,
don't know.
exactly.
When you do compete, it does take up a lot of your time. Like you go to bed nine. I mean, I go to bed at 9, and you
Same.
sometimes you gotta get up early. It's just that regiment of being an athlete. It's like in bed early, gotta prioritize sleep, gotta get up early, gotta do cardio, gotta train, gotta get all my meals and all these,
Yep.
and that takes up a lot of time, right? So when you're in prep and even in an off season too, and if you're an athlete, like the gym, you're in it for what? Almost sometimes 3 hours at the very end of prep, like
If
a
you had
day.
cardio, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's nice that you get to work from home. Like, do you sit all day or are you standing? Like, do you do
I
stand up?
do. That's
Okay.
a problem. I have to like remind myself to get up and get some steps in and,
Yeah.
try to keep up with that.
I'm struggling right there right now because I work
Mm.
from home too. And so I literally just sit in my desk all day long. So I'm trying to figure out like how can I get some steps? And you think you see us, we're athletic, like, oh, they must just be moving all day long. It's like actually no, we have to force ourselves into the gym to do
Mhm.
cardio, to do training, and to get some steps in throughout the day.
Yes.
Okay, so this year we're starting prep now. We're hitting shows in May. We're going to do back-to-back preps and then potentially do nationals. When are you planning to pull your season no matter what? Like, is there a cutoff time for you or you're just going to keep going?
I didn't set a cutoff time, no. Just kind of base it on how I'm feeling, how I'm looking.
Hmm.
Once you get too stringy and like worn out, then it's like, all right, it's time.
Yeah. And then, okay, off season too. So you're planning to off season yourself too. I don't know what the proper term is, but reverse diet yourself.
Yes, yeah, I will be. Would
Okay.
be. Yeah.
That's very, very exciting. So, okay, what else outside of competing? Like, do you have any goals that you're working on right now? Like, is there just any random goals like with work or with anything that you just like to do in this year? Because it's almost the new year. So I would love to know.
Is- Hmm. I mean, like we have home projects that are goals, I guess.
Yeah. What
Some
are you
like
guys?
renovation projects, but personally, no, not really.
Okay. I mean, I don't have anything set in stone. It's just every time it gets to the new year, I'm like, okay, what are my 2024 goals? Or like, what are my, just
Yeah.
always take a look at my goal sheet and just I'm like trying to plan some things out.
Yeah. I
And when
should do.
you should, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then when
Yep.
you looked at the shows for 2024, like what made you pick the ones that you're planning on doing?
So the Pittsburgh Pro, like I said, we try to go to it every year. It's local to me within like 2 hours.
Yeah,
So kind of like a home show.
yeah.
And I've always wanted to do that show since starting competing way back in the day.
Do
And then I
you
was just looking for something close as far as the DC one goes.
have you ever traveled for shows? Has everything been local?
No, I did Tampa.
Okay, so that was a
Yeah,
travel one.
that was travel. That was fun. And Ohio. So I guess that was probably like a 4 hour drive, 5 hours maybe from me. Not too
Okay.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too bad when you're prepping. It doesn't really matter.
No.
No. Good. Okay. So with Tampa, and we have that was the biggest show, and now we're going to do Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Well, I'm just trying to think of just any other advice that you would have for any athletes that are thinking about getting and competing and have never competed. What advice would you have?
Um, hmm. Just honestly, I feel like anybody that's interested should do it just to see what it's like.
Mhm.
But as far as advice goes, like just have a goal, stick with it, and execute your plan to get to that goal. You know,
Yeah,
whatever obstacle comes, like get over
Yeah.
over that hump, move on, and
Keep going, man. Okay.
yeah.
And then for someone that has been competing for a little while, just kind of like maybe just advice to yourself. Like, what would you tell yourself this year?
Ooh, advice to myself. Hmm. Stick with it. Just no matter how hungry, just keep going. Like
Yeah. I mean, if that's
how much
that's all
more to
that
go?
you need.
Hungry? Like
Yeah, because it is the mindset to piece around it. And it's like, okay, I can train for 3 hours. That's not an issue. It's just the hunger. That's where it's like, oh gosh, I'm real hungry. I'm real hungry right now. Because when you're doing so much activity, it's just about that energy gap where you do feel tired and you don't want to, and you just want to eat sometimes. You just
yeah.
want to have a little snack because you're just starving and just trying to
Mhm.
say no to yourself and learning to say no and just like, no, I got to stick with this a little bit longer. And I think that's the literal best advice that we can have. It seems simple. There's no magic to prep. It's not glamorous. It's monotonous. It's routine like. You wake up at the same time, you get your stuff done. And that is prep in a nutshell. It's just, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wish we would have talked about?
I don't think, no.
Okay.
Covered my competing career thus far. So
We did. I'm very excited to see how coaching yourself goes this year. I can't
no.
wait to see you get to your first time on a national stage. That's going to be a very big experience just to see how you stack up and continue to progress this year. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I do have one final question. I'm
Sure.
sure that you know. Okay, so are you team cupcake? Are you team protein shake?
Oh boy. I'm gonna go protein shake on that one.
Okay, and what flavor, what brand? Tell us. What is your favorite?
Um, I love the PE Science chocolate truffle and the cake pop.
Ooh,
Those are both very good.
okay, amazing. I'll have to try it. I've heard of PE science a few times
Yes,
now.
you have to try them. They're so good mixed in oats.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We'll get your
Yes, thank
episode. It
you.
will be, I think it's our first interview of 2024, so I'll let you know when it goes live.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was great
Here,
talking.
it's great talking to you too. Perfect. Yay. All right, that was great. So I'll get your episode. I think I have it scheduled for I think the second week of January, so like January 10th.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'm really excited to see how this year goes for you and just keep
Thank
me
you.
updated. I want to know how everything happens.
Yes, I will. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, I'll let you go and we'll talk to you later.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.